The front door creaked as Lila stepped into her new home, dust motes swirling in the sunlight streaming through the stained glass. It had been months since she had searched for a place to call her own, hoping to escape the suffocating confines of urban life. But in her heart, an unshakable wariness settled as she glanced around the dimly lit foyer. The previous owners had left behind some furniture, as if they had hurriedly packed their lives into boxes, but what struck Lila was an abandoned mirror, cracked and tarnished, hanging crookedly on the wall. The reflection shimmered oddly, twisting her features into something unrecognizable, as if the surface held its breath, poised to reveal something beneath. As evening fell, the air in the house thickened, carrying the faintest scent of decay, like forgotten memories lingering in the corners. Lila traced her fingers along the dusty banister as she ascended the staircase, the wood beneath her touch feeling unnaturally cold. The walls closed in around her, stifling the sounds from the street outside, each step echoing as if to remind her that she was utterly alone. When night enveloped the neighborhood, Lila decided to watch TV in the living room. The flickering screen sputtered to life, but instead of her favorite shows, the static hissed around her like whispers in a foreign language. She adjusted the antenna, but the images remained obscured, swirling like a fog, as if the television itself was reluctant to admit her into its realm. It was then that she heard it, a faint shuffling sound from upstairs, like someone dragging their feet across the wooden floorboards. Lila froze, her heart thumping loudly against her ribcage. She had assumed she was alone, but now the house loomed over her, filled with unseen presences. The shuffling continued, slow and deliberate. Lila grasped the remote, the plastic cold against her skin, and turned the TV off, plunging the room into a thick silence. Gathering her courage, Lila climbed the stairs again, each step heavier than the last. The noises faded, replaced by the sound of her own heartbeat reverberating in her ears. She turned down the hall, where a door stood slightly ajar, the thin line of dim light spilling out from within. As she pushed the door open, she was met with an unremarkable bedroom, pale walls and a dusty quilt spread across an unmade bed. But it was the closet door that drew her attention, ever so slightly ajar, a shadow shifting inside, as if breathing. She felt the coldness radiating from it, the air thickening as she reached out, fingers trembling. Suddenly, a whisper slithered through the air, her name drawn out like a fading echo. Lila. The realization struck her like a punch to the gut. The previous owners hadn't left hastily, they had fled. A feeling of dread cascaded over her as she backed away, unable to look away from the shadows pooling just beyond the doorframe. In that moment, the cracked mirror flashed in her mind, the twisted reflection perhaps a warning of what lay ahead. She turned to bolt, racing down the hall, but just as she reached the staircase, the front door slammed shut, reverberating through the house. Lila's breath quickened, panic welling up inside her. She pressed her body against the door, longing for escape, but it wouldn't budge. The house seemed to breathe, refusing her liberation. For what felt like an eternity, Lila stood there, paralyzed by a mixture of fear and disbelief. Then she remembered the window in the back room. She pushed open the nearest window, a rush of night air filling her lungs, and clambered through, hitting the ground outside with a thud. As she glanced back at the house, the lights flickered on one by one, illuminating the windows like eyes staring down at her, the mirror still reflecting the life they had left behind. In the distance, the faint echo of her name curled through the night, a call to those who had vanished. She ran without looking back, feeling the weight of what she'd escaped push against her. Lila would discover later the tales whispered in the neighborhood, stories of those who entered and never returned. From that night on, she understood the burden that homes could bear, how they could hold on to the shadows of their past inhabitants, and when the house called, it had no intention of letting go. In the end, she learned a simple truth. Some spaces retain a history too dark for the living, and in every shadow cast, one can sense the souls still trapped within.